So as you all know, playing with the black pieces is quite difficult. But today I will show you 5 chess traps and you can use these chess traps to win in a few moves. So let's get started. So after e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6, knight takes e5, we enter the Stafford gambit with knight c6. He takes, you recapture. Now the pawn is under attack, so d3 defends the pawn. Bishop c5, just developing the bishop. And here bishop g5 is a common move, pinning the knight to the queen. Then you play knight takes e4, giving away the queen. So if he takes the queen, then you have bishop takes f2 check, king e2 only move, and then bishop g4 is a checkmate. So you gotta play d takes f4. Now you don't capture the bishop, but you go for bishop takes f2. And as you can see, it's not a free bishop, otherwise you will take the queen. So king e2, but then bishop g4 check, wins the queen, and you're completely winning. Let's move on to the next trap. So after e4 c5, c3, this is the elephant Sicilian. Then you play d5, and after he takes, you take with the queen. Since this pawn is blocking this development of the knight, so knight f3, then knight f6, and after d4, here you don't take. Otherwise, after he takes, his knight is going to open up. Instead, you play e6. Bishop d3 prepares to castle. Then you play c4, hitting the bishop. But this seems like a blunder because queen to a4 check seems like it wins the pawn because if you try to go there, then he can take. Well, that's not what we are going to do. We are going to play b5, confusing white. So if he moves the queen, then you grab the bishop and you are winning. But he can be tricky and play bishop takes c4, attacking the bishop and pinning the pawn. But actually, we are going to check him and then now you take the queen and he can resign. Let's move on to the next trap. So after e4 e6, d4 d5, knight c3, bishop b4, then e5, and after that you play c5. e3 hits the bishop, but then you can take, damaging his pawn structure. Knight e7, prepares to castle. Then queen g4 hits that pawn, but you're not going to castle. Instead you play queen c7, giving him this free pawn. He takes, then you attack the queen. Queen takes another pawn, and you play c takes d4. Now since you are threatening a fork here, so he will play knight to e2, preventing that. But then you have knight b c6, and after c takes d4, he just finished the game with knight takes d4. But the main problem is if he tries to bring his queen back, you are threatening this then. Therefore, he got a take, but then you give this check, and now you grab the rook, and now you are having a winning advantage here as you can see. Let's move on to the next trap. So after d4 d5, c4, the queen's gambit, one of the most popular opening for white, you go e6, declining the gambit, knight c3, knight f6, bishop g5, then knight d7. This sets up the trap. It seems like he can take because after you take, he can go for this. As you can't take, since this knight is pinned, but actually, you're going to play knight takes d5, giving away the queen. Now he can't do much, so he captures the free queen, but then bishop b4 check. Now as you can see, queen d2 is the only safe square, but then you just take, and after he takes, you grab the bishop and end up with an extra piece. Let's move on to the next trap. So after d4, you go knight f6, c4, then e5, the Budapest gambit. They generally take, then knight g4 hits a pawn back, knight f3, then knight c6, putting even more pressure, bishop f4, then you play bishop b4 check. Now he got a block with this knight, otherwise this pawn will be loose. So knight b d2, then queen e7 puts pressure, a3 trying to counter attack, but then you just take this pawn with the knight, and after he captures your free bishop, knight d3 finishes the game. So if you have enjoyed this video, then don't forget to give this video a like, and if you don't want to miss the upcoming videos, then don't forget to subscribe.